You are listening to Single Smart Female, Romantic Fairy Godmama Edition. This show is brought to you by Irresistibility, expert help for women with online dating. Are you experiencing inbox crickets or real-life crazies? It's not you, it's your online dating profile. Let us help you do online dating that leads to real-life love and romance. Go to helpmeonlinedate.com and we will send you the first 2 video chapters of our program for free. Hey, Jen. Guess who I am?
I'm going to take a wild guess, very wild, and say that you're Gen 2.
Yes, I am Gen 2. You are Gen 1, and I want to talk to you about something and talk to you about...
Wait, you forgot to say together we are Gen squared.
Together we are Gen squared. And I want to talk to you today and our listeners today about a subject. You want to know what it is?
Yes.
Okay. It is, are you too sensitive to date?
Dun, dun, dun. It's a really good topic.
I know. I'm scared.
So what do you mean?
So sometimes we get a little bit offended, hurt feelings. Maybe people listen to this podcast and think, man, those girls are mean. Maybe it's happened one time.
Or a few.
So I'm thinking if you think
we're mean,
then
you might be too sensitive to date.
And it's time to go into your room, shut the door, put your head under a pillow, and turn off the lights and go to bed for a year.
A year? It's a long time.
All right, just 6 months. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, so let me elaborate on this if you're cool with that, Jen.
I would love that.
I have had people comment to me before about me being mean, me being not sensitive enough to people's feelings and things like that. I don't sugarcoat everything, but I'm actually an extraordinarily nice person. I am direct, but I'm an extraordinarily nice person. And if you've ever worked with me, you would know firsthand how much I actually care, almost to a fault, about my clients. And in fact, Jen and I were just having a discussion that sometimes I care too much.
Agreed.
That I'm unable to let certain outcomes go because I have such a high standard for the work I do and for what I'm hoping for the women that I work with.
Absolutely. And being a person that has worked with you myself, I do know how important it is for you that you genuinely care. You care about what happened to me, the choices I made, and how it affected my love life. I knew it was important to you that I had something amazing come out of it.
And there have been points in time that you haven't wanted to disclose certain things with me because you had a fear of me adversely reacting to it.
Yeah. Maybe like I really liked a guy and I was afraid that you might think whatever he said or did was not okay and that you would shut him down. And then I'd have to deal with the decision of whether I was going to follow you or do my own thing.
Yeah, and have to, come to that point and make a choice.
Yeah.
But it's very important to note here that I am the way that I am because I don't have the time or the luxury, especially within the context of one podcast, to sugarcoat everything. I do try to be as nice as possible. And what I have learned time and time again from doing this and being so public with how I feel about your love life and wanting to help your love life and all the single smart females out there.
Single farting females.
Don't deny it. We all do it. No, okay. Yes. It happens. But it's really important for everyone to understand that there isn't time in this world to sugarcoat everything. If you want to take your dear sweet time, that is fine. But in the context of what I do, I have to get to the point faster, and I can do that better if you give me permission to be direct with you. And if you decide not to be offended by everything that I say to you. If you are, it is going to be, because the question actually here is, are you too sensitive to date? And whether or not I can have a conversation with you and tell you what you need to do differently and without it offending you. If you can't go an entire podcast without being offended by me, then yes, you are at this point too sensitive to date. Because we as an adored woman, it's not like we have to blow off everything. If there's a severe offense, of course, we need to address that. But we also need to thicken our skin a bit around dating, men, life, and not take everything so personally. Not everything is a direct shot. Sometimes it is. More often than not, it's not.
Right. And so my mind is going in several directions right now because ultimately I'm in charge of my own life, right? Mm-hmm. So you have an opinion on what I should do and I can agree or disagree.
Yes.
And if I disagree, it doesn't mean, or if you say something that I don't necessarily agree with, it doesn't mean that I'm an idiot or I'm wrong. I mean, I get to choose how.
You're probably wrong, but I'm just kidding.
But I get to choose. Mm-hmm. And for me to take it personal, I mean,
it's not benefiting you whatsoever.
No, I mean, I respect your opinion. I know that your heart is in the right place, that you want the right and the best things for me. So mm-hmm. I take that into account, but it doesn't mean that every single thing I'm going to agree upon and I get to choose.
Ultimately, this is your life. It's your choose your own adventure story.
Right.
Okay? Exactly. I am here and I do what I do because I've been asked to over and over again and help and I help women in that because I have a really good record. I know a lot of the things and been through a lot of the experiences women are repeatedly asking me about. So
agreed. And I do genuinely, as me individually, I do genuinely trust your opinion.
Well, and I appreciate that. But let's bring this back to the whole dating thing. What I hear more often than I would like to is women being super offended about everything that goes on in their dating life. And so offended to a point that they stop dating.
True.
This is problematic. If you want to find love in your life, thicken your skin a little bit because a lot of times men are saying things or doing things that have nothing to do as a direct shot at you.
Right. They're sometimes having to do things to manage their own life, but sometimes women take it personally and think, oh, you had to cancel our date because you don't want to go out with me or whatever maybe. Take it personal.
Yeah, they take too much personally and mm-hmm. instead of looking at it as an opportunity for themselves. So mm-hmm. let's use that example. A guy cancels a date with you. The average woman gets really offended by that or hurt. Mm-hmm. An adored woman says, oh, okay, well, tonight, either maybe I need to reevaluate. Maybe I needed a night to myself to relax, pamper myself, get something else done. Or maybe there's somebody in my entourage that I should connect with.
Yep.
It's an opportunity. It's not a reason to be offended.
Exactly. This just happened to me not that long ago. I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, I think. One of my leading entourage members said, sorry, I can't go out tonight, and didn't give an explanation and didn't reschedule either. Mm-hmm. And so I said, okay, no problem. Have a great night. Talk to you soon.
I love you for that.
And I think that I realized there were a few things around my house I needed to do. I connected with a couple of friends and I just took it as, okay, I have this opportunity to do other things tonight. Mm-hmm. And if he is lucky, then he can talk to me later and we can reschedule. If he doesn't want to, then so be it. And I can move forward with myself.
Yes. We also get, now this is kind of a stickier situation. We also get super offended if things don't work out just because there was intense chemistry. Mm-hmm. And this is where I would like all of you women to take a step back. If things are not working out with a specific man, that means somebody better is coming. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not a reason to feel as if you're never going to find love. You're never going to have what you want. Some pieces of our love life are temporary gifts. They open us up to something else. Your perception of this is truly important. If you always perceive every interaction with men as something he is doing to you, you're going to struggle indefinitely with men.
Right. And you won't receive the gifts that are from the experience. Like our life is all about experiences and the gifts and growth we get from them.
Mm-hmm.
So you will miss those gifts completely and not grow and find something more amazing.
Exactly. And another piece of this, and this is another place where women sometimes really take a long time to get this piece. If you don't have great boundaries with men, and by the way, ladies, let's talk specifically sexual boundaries. Just telling a man that you're not going to sleep with him is not a boundary. In fact, I suggest that you don't do that, okay? Especially on a first date. I just suggest you don't sleep with them.
Yeah, don't even say it.
Yeah, you don't need to say it, because if you violate your own boundary, you've not only violated your own boundary, you've set yourself up in his head that what you say doesn't mean anything. You've discounted yourself. But here's what I see with certain extremes of a type of woman is she says that she's not really into the whole sex on the first date thing or within the first couple date thing, but she does it anyways because deep down she thinks she's going to lose his attention. And then because she's not doing it from a place of, I really wanted to have sex just to have sex, not because she was doing it for hopefully that she would go straight into a relationship with him. The energy between the two of them gets really screwed up, convoluted, and he ends up going MIA, and then she does things that push him away further, but then all of a sudden it's all his fault. Mm-hmm. He was the one that was being horrible to her when it was really both of them. Mm-hmm. And she becomes the victim when she's not a victim at all. And this is really important for us as women to start to understand. Although there are things in life that I concede, we still need to keep working on in reference to equality and things like that. We, especially in first world nations, have an immense amount of say in so many things. But more than anything, we have total say on what goes on in our love life. There is no inequality in our love lives whatsoever because we are what men are wired to want, to desire. We are their weakest point, meaning we are what brings them to their knees the fastest and easiest. But most women don't get this because they aren't willing to take a couple steps back, quit being offended by things that they don't really need to be offended by, thicken their skins a little bit, and explore a different way of being with men, a way that's actually much more empowering to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I also know of women who have expressed to me that maybe they were in a very heavy makeout session and maybe clothes came off and such, and that they ended up sleeping with the man because they were afraid that he was going to get angry.
Yeah, that's actually a very, very important point. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you brought that up because that's something on the other side. And I actually had an incident where that did happen. Our clothes weren't off, and we didn't sleep together, but he did get really, really angry. Mm-hmm. And what I'm going to suggest to most women, until you feel absolutely 100% not afraid of men in that capacity, I would not be going to a man's house or taking them to your house within the first few dates. Give him time to really prove how willing he is to step up for you. That is super important because that is a little different than what we're actually talking about. Right. That's not about sensitivity, in my opinion. That's not valid. A valid concern. Yeah. But it is something, I'm glad you brought it up because it is something really important. So specifically safety-wise, what I would do is if you as a woman still have a lot of fear around that or you've had an incident like that, I would absolutely 100% recommend not doing at-home dates, not doing Netflix and chill for a while. Let him earn the opportunity to spend alone time with you later down the line. Right. And if he checks out before then because he got his panties all in a bunch because he can't sleep with you quite yet, it's his shit, not yours. Right. Let him go. Yeah. Free him to the overly sexed masses. That really important, ladies. Your safety absolutely always 100% comes first. Now, with that said, let's go back to the sensitivity part because I still think we as women are letting men get to us because we're not willing to really explore our options. I think there's a level of fear here that we're in a way, even though we say we're not, we're in a way we're really committed to not having what we want, or don't believe we can have what we want romantically.
Sure, absolutely.
So we keep men at arm's length a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Or when we have a guy that we're really attracted to, we let all of our boundaries down.
Right.
And just go head first into something. And I want to make it also very clear. I want women to stop treating like the man that they like the most in their mantourage, giving him access
like
privileges, special treatment
yeah.
that especially violate her own boundaries that she wouldn't do with other men.
Yeah, like why does he get that? Just because he's hot?
Yeah, just because he's hot. Just because he's hot. And then what that is a way to hyperfocus.
Yeah.
And we all know where hyperfocus leads in this dating scenario. But ultimately, there's a couple of things I want adored women to have. First off, I want them to have thicker skin. I want them to stop taking things so personally, because 9 times out of 10, or sometimes 8 times out of 10, what a man has said or done, when they bring it to me, they've misperceived. And there's so many variations of what could have actually been meant by that. I want you all to assume that a large percentage of men really are trying to find ways to make you happy. Okay? They're just sometimes clueless about that. Sometimes they don't get it right. I'll give you a really good example. My husband and I, he has said some of the most kind things to me that I've ever been told in my entire life. And he always tells me how beautiful I am, regardless. I mean, I can look like just straight up ass, Jen, and it's every morning, hello, beautiful.
I love it. That's so sweet.
It's amazing. But there have been times in our relationship when he was not thinking and said something that I could have taken as an insult to me. Prime example, when we were first dating and we had first started sleeping together, we were laying in bed. And I have a big ass. I've talked about this before.
It's really cute, guys.
I have a juicy ass.
You got to see this in person.
If you're lucky. I was talking about how much he must love big asses. And the first thing out of his mouth was, well, actually, I like small asses a lot, too. I was setting him up to win with me, and he totally took it in another direction. Now, I could have got really offended. And with my first husband, I would have got extraordinarily offended.
Right.
With him, I decided that it didn't matter if that came out of his mouth. I took a step back from it and realized he just misspoke. It wasn't.
And he was there with you.
It wasn't a strike 3, you're out kind of thing. It was just, hey, I misspoke. And I think a lot of times we don't give men any permission to make a mistake. Okay. Now, sometimes they're very flagrant mistakes, but we have to understand those a little bit better. You know, there's a big difference with somebody misspeaking, and all the other evidence has said that they're amazing to us, and then at the same time somebody cheating on you or something really, really grotesque. I can't even think of the word right now, but something really awful that they can do to you. So what I want all of you ladies to understand is if you take some steps back and you don't feel offended by everything all the time, then you're actually going to have a lot of offenses start to disappear. Because when you focus on being offended and you're always offended and you don't have good boundaries at the same time, then you're going to be pissed off at men.
Absolutely. And if you want to just take this phrase and just solidify it in your heart and know that, know this to be true, that everything that is going on in your dating life is happening for you and not to you. So say something happens that does make you uncomfortable. Say your guy, just like Jen said, I don't particularly like big butts, you know. Well, you can see this as an opportunity for yourself to step up and say, okay, so I'm not his typical flavor, but he's here with me. He's here with me right now.
I totally messed with him. It was we've had fun with that joke since I was, my favorite too. And that's what we end up doing with each other when we misspeak. One of the things he said to me, and ladies, that's the other thing. I want you to have thicker skin and I want you to have a sense of humor. Mm-hmm. The more you can play with all of this, the better this gets. But on another occasion, he was rubbing the top of my ass and oh my God, it felt so good. And he says to me, do you like that? And I say to him, I love it when people do that. He's like, oh, really? And how many people are doing that right now? Kind of thing. So we mess with each other on that kind of stuff instead of being offended. And not that was a horrible thing to say or anything else like that, but we don't have to be upset. And I think you make a very valid point. Everything is happening for you. So it's an opportunity for you to use your sense of humor. It's an opportunity for you to be more witty, opportunity for you to be more playful. It's an opportunity sometimes, if it is a flagrant foul, it's an opportunity for you to stand in your boundaries, and we all need to practice those.
Exactly. Like for example, in a recent episode, I talked about a private dancer looking at girl up and down. So when he asked me out later, I told him, I don't know. I don't know if I misunderstood this, but you were looking at this girl up and down. Were you looking at her like that, or did I misunderstand? So it's opportunities for you to have more of a sense of humor, to open some playfulness and banter, to set better boundaries, sometimes it's going to be an opportunity for you to look and say, I deserve better than that, and build self-confidence, but not in a way that's like, oh, you're such an a-hole, you're such a jerk. Like, hey, no, that's not what I'm looking for in life. I want to open the opportunities of the universe to bring me something better.
Amen. Okay, lover girl, it's time for the final thought on today's show.
Adored women can create the most extraordinary love lives. Your 2 dating requirements: a sense of humor and thicker skin.
Thank you, lover girl, for joining us on this romantic fairy godmama edition of Single Smart Female. Don't forget to text this episode to all of your single smart girlfriends, as well as visit us at SingleSmartFemale.com.
We'll talk to you next time.
And here's to you having everything you want in life and love.
This show is brought to you by Irresistibility, expert help for women with online dating. Are you experiencing inbox crickets or real-life crazies? It's not you, it's your online dating profile. Let us help you do online dating that leads to real-life love and romance. Go to helpmeonlinedate.com and we will send you the first 2 video chapters of our program for free.